Tuesday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Their honor roll student is dating a bad boy.
You have been abusive with her?
Yes.
She's pregnant.
It sickens me. She's kind of half his child, my grandchild.
He's controlling.
You couldn't leave her alone to be interviewed.
It's about us being together.
That's not about being together. You're afraid she can say something that'll hurt you.
And violent.
You've locked her in a bedroom, kids scream for help.
You get mad and you throw her out of the car.
Do you believe he could kill you? You know, as parents, your child's graduation day is a big deal. All of their hard work and determination has led to that one moment when they walk across that stage, grab their diploma, dreams of the future swimming in their head. It was no different for Katrina and Ed's youngest daughter, Kirsten. She graduated high school with honors and was headed to nursing school. Little did these parents know she'd never make it to her first day, because they say Kirsten met a boy, actually a man, a very, very bad man, according to her parents. Today's episode will have you pulling your hair out and screaming at your TV and thanking your lucky stars that it isn't happening to you and your child.
John and I have been together for about 7 months. I'm 18 and John is 30 years old.
I don't really see any problem with our age difference.
I'm Kirsten's older sister. I dated John 4 years ago, and I actually broke up with him because he was way too controlling. When I first met John, I took Kirsten with me, and she immediately nicknamed him Creepy John and Crazy John.
When I met John, he said all the right things. I tried to be open-minded. My husband, Ed, did not like John at all.
Once I learned the age difference, I knew he was no good. I refused to talk to John.
After about a month of dating, John and I moved in together. I love him more than I've ever loved anybody.
Her parents are trying their best to keep us apart and to break us up.
If John thinks I'm trying to keep my daughter away from him, that's the one thing he's got right.
Well, Kirsten's dad has a very good reason to keep John away from his daughter.
John can be really abusive towards me.
When I get mad, I get a surge of rage that flows through my body. I can't control it.
One time, John got really mad and grabbed me by the throat. John has told me he was going to beat me the up.
She grabbed me by my face. I retaliated by digging my elbow into her. She had a bruise afterwards, pretty bad bruise.
Recently, John has thrown me on the bed and covered my mouth and my nose, and I couldn't breathe. I fear that someday John will kill me.
Okay, guys, how did we get in this situation? Because you forbid her to see him.
The day I found out, I basically put her on lockdown. I didn't.
He forbid her to see him, but you went behind his back, let her use your phone to call him, and you enabled her to re-engage in this relationship.
Yes.
Right before they left, she had her cell phone on her dresser. I looked down because it went off, and it was John's name on her phone. At the time, I didn't call her out on it because I wasn't sure. Well, when they left, I got on our account, and I looked up, and I saw that they were texting back and forth. I had my daughter's phone blocked from his, but my wife was letting her use her phone.
You knowingly put her back in touch with and relationship with an ex-convict that's on probation with violent and aggressive behavior, already has a baby with somebody else that he has no contact with. I mean,
I didn't know his aggressive side. I didn't know his whole background of his charges when I first met him. He charmed me. He only gave me one charge that he was arrested for. I just knew about the burglary. I thought he did his time. It was a couple years ago. Maybe he has changed. I didn't know.
Well, to complicate matters even more, Kirsten is now expecting this man's baby.
I am currently 3 months pregnant with John's baby. I'm very excited about having a baby. Our thought process was my family would come around and accept him because he would be the father of their grandchild.
As far as the father, brother, and sister, no, they've never been supportive.
My family has not come around.
It's absolutely ridiculous that Kirsten assumed that if she got pregnant, the whole family would just be accepting of John.
This is a parent's worst nightmare.
How do you feel about this part of the deal?
It sickens me that he's even been with my daughter, let alone that she's going to have his job. It's my grandchild. He's nowhere mature enough to... I mean, he's proven before he has a kid he can't see now. And now he's supposed to help raise my grandchild. And
This is a dangerous and violent man.
Yes.
He has spent almost his entire adult life in prison. He spent 10 years behind bars. He's 30.
that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, we'll do the math for you. Now, Kirsten admits her 7-month relationship with John has been, to quote her, hell.
A few weeks ago, Kirsten and I got into an argument. She went to her parents' house, and she had a phone that I had given her. I was extremely mad, and I wanted my phone back.
John came over with his car and blocked our driveway. Started calling the house phone, my cell phone.
Hold it, cop. Get my phone. You want her away from me? You want us done? Give me my phone.
I felt scared. John was completely out of his mind. I called the police. The first thing when they came in, they said, "Are you aware that he's on state parole?" I said, "No." In hindsight, I should have had John arrested. Had I done that today, John would no longer be with my daughter. John would be behind bars where he belongs.
Well, ordinarily, I would have spoken with Kirsten alone or with her family, and then we would have added John to the conversation. But John refused. He said he did not want Kirsten to be out here by herself. He wanted to be with her the entire time. We're going to meet Kirsten and the boyfriend that her family desperately wants gone, plus a fight involving this whole family when we come back.
You get mad and you throw her out of the car?
You barricaded her in a bedroom and locked her in a bedroom, wouldn't let her out.
Are you a reasonable option?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, she's lied about their father's death.
Well, guess who's on the phone? Steve Sr.
She's altered checks.
You added a 9 to the 50.
And
This makes me want to say, forget it.
If you want to get self-righteous and storm off of here, knock yourself out. I don't care.
she's got a real attitude.
You don't even know what it took to come here.
I've seen this act from you about 100 times.
Get out of my life.
That's tomorrow.
John controls everything that my daughter does. He reads all of her text messages, needs to know where she's at all times.
Is it possible to interview you and get started with someone with you? Is that possible to get some shots of her?
Together. That's the only way we're going to do it.
You guys want to be together the whole time? Okay.
They're going to now join us together. So, Kirsten and John, come on. The father here has never spoken to John. This will be a first time. Hello, John.
Hi.
How are you? Kirsten, how you doing?
All right.
Have a seat right here if you would. You two are in a relationship, correct? You're pregnant?
Correct.
How far along are you?
About 3 months.
About 3 months? Mm-hmm. And do you plan to get married?
Someday we hope to. We realize we have a lot of problems, problems that need fixed before we even think about marriage.
He's never going to be accepted. Get that through your head. Never.
So you had this baby on purpose?
I thought that it might help with the acceptance.
It's more of a fact of if they wanted to be around the baby, they would have to be around him. And that's something we've never all experienced at once.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out what your thinking was. So the idea was to have a baby and hold it hostage unless they were willing to interact with John.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Yeah.
Well, is there any other way to think of it?
I would have allowed them to see our baby.
You wouldn't even let your mom go to the appointments.
She was being secretive to him about my counseling session for no reason, and his choice was to tell her that she couldn't come to any more baby appointments. She was already at one ultrasound.
But he already knew you were going to counseling. He didn't need to know where it was or who the lady was, so he could follow us and stalk us. That was between me and you. I was getting you help. I was paying for that.
Follow and stalk when I work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night. How could I follow and stalk?
Do you work every
while I
day,
was working?
John?
Yeah, I was working that day.
How many hours do you work a day? Not every day you
Average.
don't work 8 hours.
No, average I work
You have
12
off.
to 13.
Okay,
That day I was working a 13-hour day.
Okay.
John, let me ask you, do these folks have reason to be concerned about you?
They all have reason to be concerned about me. I mean, it's in my past, it's in my actions. It's in
You
our
won't leave her
relationship.
alone. You
won't
couldn't leave her alone to be interviewed. Are you that afraid of her?
No, I'm not.
Are you
that
afraid
of
she'll speak her mind or the truth will come out?
She can speak her mind even with me sitting here.
Really?
No.
Then why didn't you let her get interviewed alone?
Because I wanted to be there, because
Why?
it was about us being together. That's what this
That's
whole...
not about being
this-
together.
this-
You're
this entire
afraid of her
situation-
individuality. You're afraid she can actually say something that'll hurt you.
I just want to say I was very honest in my interview, and nothing with him sitting there. I didn't.
I
Kirsten's
wasn't
not
even-
normal.
You've come to us how many times saying you're afraid of him? That's
Yeah.
why you
But
stay.
Your
yes, I've been
words.
afraid of him.
Your
You
words.
love him, but you
Yes.
hate him as much as you
Yes,
love him.
I do.
Why do
He
you keep
knows
going
that.
back to him? You bawled to me on my couch. Why do I keep going back to him, Mom? Why can't I stop?
Because I'm stuck. I mean,
And I
I
told
don't
you I didn't
stuck.
know.
Your option's here. It's not there. That's stuck.
You
I
don't
do
need to
love
be
him.
controlled.
That's not leaving an option.
You're being controlled.
What's not
Why
an
is it not an option?
Saying that her option is there and this is not an option, that's cutting off options.
You cut
Option
off
should be an
options. She
option for
can't
her
have
should be
friends.
an option for her should be whatever she decides.
Okay, are you a reasonable option?
At the moment, right now, no. I have problems that I need to work on.
Okay, then why are you in this relationship,
I want to stay in the relationship. I want to work through it.
even though it's not in her best interest?
At
This is
the
the same
moment,
relationship
it
that
might
you
not be
keep
in her
throwing
best
her out.
interest.
Is that the relationship you want? You get mad and you throw her out of the car?
Whenever we have an argument and she breaks up with me and decides to run
And you
off,
throw her
yes,
out.
I-
When she's
I throw
walking
her
down
out.
No
the street and you
shoes,
pick her up
no
and throw her in the
phone,
back seat and
no
take
nothing.
off with her, and she said if she would have had her cell phone, she would have called 911 for kidnapping.
Well, see,
she-
I'm
When you barricaded her
concerned.
in a bedroom and locked her in a bedroom, wouldn't let her out, and she had to scream for help, and she had to run to the neighbors and call me after you texted me and
I
said
told
get her
her
out
that
of
I
here.
wanted to speak to her, and I
You throw
sat
her
in front
clothes
of the
outside and
door
text me in the
playing
middle of
a
my brother's
game on a
wedding?
cell phone while she trashed the room.
No, I think you
There's
ripped her
the
clothes
pictures of
down
it.
first.
Does
I
this-
didn't take anything down.
Okay.
Let me interrupt here for a second. Y'all don't need me here to bicker. Do you think this is reasonable?
No.
Because he agrees he's not a good candidate. You agree he's not a good candidate. They agree he is not a good candidate. So give me your logic.
I've tried to leave him several times, but a lot of the times I think about all the good times.
Right?
I mean, he is my best friend. He does do a lot for me. I mean, yeah, when times are good, they're good, and when they're bad, they're bad. Really bad.
What has he done for you? I'm the one paying for the doctor visits. For the baby, he's not. He gets money from
has
his dad
told
every
me.
Thursday.
He has told me he would pay for them.
Do you have
You told us
furniture in
we
your
were paying-
apartment?
You told us we were paying for that, and yes, now we do have furniture in our apartment.
I want to find out how these two have interacted with us since they were booked on the show. We'll be right back.
I feel very isolated. My life now has become just John and I.
I said, Kirsten, you're his puppet. He has complete control over you.
He has brainwashed her, and I see a girl now that bows down to this awful man. I tried to get Kirsten into counseling. She went to 2 appointments, and then she took off and went back to John.
I thought she wanted to get me into counseling to help me be stronger and have a healthier mindset. It was actually to tear John and I apart. The counselor told me that I should leave John, that he will kill me.
We've been talking to Kirsten's family about Kirsten's boyfriend and father to her future baby. Now, her mother, Katrina, says her eyes were open wide when she learned the full extent of John's criminal history.
Recently, I went to the courthouse, and I found out a lot more than what John originally told me.
I believe John deserves a second chance. people need to stop judging John and be more open-minded.
John was arrested for burglary, false statements, breaking a PFA.
One time when I was talking to John, he did mention, don't be alarmed if someone comes to you and says anything about raping any girls, because it's not true.
I've done close to 10 years incarcerated. I was 19 when I first went to jail for criminal mischief. I did 5 months. I got the burglary charge. I was sentenced 6 months to 7 years. I violated, I think twice I went back for 18 months to 2 years. I think that's why I'm as aggressive as I am. I'm in the process of turning my life around.
I'm not judging him from his past. He had a chance to prove to me that he was a good person, that he was changed, man. He has not changed one bit.
You used the word, you said, that's why I'm so aggressive. What do you mean aggressive?
By aggressive, I mean the way that I'm protective or I'm over-controlling, or pretty much whenever you're incarcerated, everything that you care about, you have to fight for.
You've done close to 10 years, and you're only 30.
Yeah.
So most of your adult life, you have been in prison. And several of those times you've been in prison because you got out of prison and they said, here are the rules to follow while you're out. And you couldn't follow those rules, correct?
No, I couldn't.
John's been very controlling since we booked you guys on the show. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
He tried installing an app on her phone to record all of her activity, calls and texts. You aware of that?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Overly watched.
He had to be home when she sent physical abuse pictures in order to see what was sent. Correct?
No, I was not home for those pictures. The pictures that I had to be home for was the pictures that had property damage inside of the apartment.
Texted the show from Kirsten's phone and said we are requiring a female interviewer for the field shoot.
I think he told me to do that when we were laying in bed at the time.
So he told you to do it?
Yes, he did tell me to do it.
He uses her phone quite often.
That's how I found out she was pregnant.
Oh, this is Kirsten.
You started an argument minutes into Kirsten's pre-interview. The AP heard fighting and then the phone went dead, correct?
Correct.
So
That's
you
correct.
wanted to disrupt the process.
That's correct.
After the fight, John said he couldn't be separated from Kirsten while doing anything for the show. John has backed out of the show at least 5 times, says he's doing the show because he loves you.
He wants 15 minutes of fame.
I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't.
You said it.
You said it.
Those were your words.
Yes,
Those are my
you
words.
did.
I don't care.
I don't even want to be on this show.
You know
Seriously?
what's weird is when she wrote in, they weren't together, so she wrote in to get help, to get away and stay away. But it wasn't even 4 days later that they got back together.
I got more help. I felt like I was falling apart. I was extremely depressed. I know I do love this man, but I knew there was really big problems.
He is the only thing allowed to be in her life.
You have been physically abusive with her?
I have, yes.
And what did you do to her?
I've grabbed her by the arm. I've put my hand on her neck. I've pushed her on the bed.
You kicked her out in the middle of the night with no bra, no shoes on, no phone. You kicked
That's
those.
not physically abusive.
Tell them about the bruise on your
Kicking
arm.
her out at
size
night.
of the
You let a
softball.
17-year-old out at 3 a.m. in the morning, hiding in a parking lot, calling
How
her
many
friends
times has she
scared.
just ran out of the
Her
apartment?
phone's done.
We don't know.
How many times
How
did you
many
knock the
times?
door down at the beach? You knocked the door down and took the phone that
Good,
was I
stand
paid
down.
for and broke the phone, smashed it.
Well, I made a list, actually, of abuse.
You're real cool, John.
I made a list of John's abusive behavior according to you. This is what you told us, that he has hit the brakes, causing Kirsten's head to slam into the dash. Yeah. And he would do that repeatedly, right?
Yeah.
He'd be like that, just keep going and keep going. True?
That's true.
Is there any other piece of information that you need to have that this man does not have your best interest at heart, that he goes into a rage and loses control of himself?
I know he does that. It's just, like I said, it's very hard for me. Like, I've left him multiple times and I've fallen right back.
Okay, but you understand that's not normal.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yes, I do
He's
understand.
grabbed Kirsten's throat and pushed her against the side of the car, locked her in the bedroom for trying to visit Grandma without him. Kirsten screamed for help before released. He bit Kirsten's lip then bruised her arm and dug his elbow into her arm and says, "How does that feel?" Threw a bucket of ice and a bucket of water on Kirsten and threatened her with another bucket of water unless she joined him in bed. How is that okay with you?
It's not.
Well, apparently it is, because you continue to be with him, which means you're enabling him. You're not helping him, you're enabling him to abuse you.
Kirsten, it's not normal.
I know.
You know it's not.
So why do you stay?
You don't need to be with him. You don't need it.
Look what he's done. I've been with you
You
for
deserve better than
this
that.
whole relationship, and you turned your back on me, and you destroyed me.
Look, I'm sorry.
You know you have destroyed me. I'm on medicine because I lost my daughter to this horrible man. And you expect me to want him in my life after everything that he's done to you? I can't do it.
Can I give her a hug?
Do whatever you want.
I'm sorry.
You wrote me a letter on June 30th of this year. Have you read this?
No.
John, you haven't read this?
He's never heard.
You said, "Dr. Phil, I need your help. I'm 18 years old, dating a controlling and possessive 29-year-old. We've been together a few months now, and things keep getting worse." He says, "I'm a sick, disgusting bitch." And you end that letter by saying, "Dr. Phil, I need help. I fear for my life. I'm stuck in an extremely abusive relationship, but I can't get out." Then, on 9/11 of this year, just a few weeks, you said, "I'm begging for help," all caps. "I am now pregnant." 10 weeks as of today, he's mentally, physically, emotionally abusive. "I've lost all of my friends. I'm losing my family. He's making me choose. He's thrown things at me. He's picked me up in the middle of the street and thrown me in the back seat of the car. I'll write to you every day if that's what it takes. I have not talked to him for a few hours. He's been sitting outside my parents' house now for 2 hours because I won't give him the phone. I'm falling apart. I just need something, anything. Please help me."
I was desperate, yeah. I felt like I was drowning.
You are.
Yeah.
You feel that way because you are. Next, Kirsten says John has an 18-month-old baby with another woman that he's not allowed to see. We're going to find out why when we come back.
It completely shocks me that in a few months' time, my sister has done a complete 180. She told me, "Well, I'm going to do what I want to do," and we got in a big fight, and she said, "Well, then you can consider me dead."
Kirsten thinks she's going to raise this baby with John in this apartment they have. At this point, Kirsten has no job, no financial means of supporting herself or this baby. Eventually, my husband and I are going to be helping her raise this baby.
They have absolutely no clue what they're doing.
I don't need support from other people. I know for a fact we can do it on our own.
My daughter has no idea what she's gotten herself into.
Do you agree that you are in an abusive relationship?
100%.
Do you believe that he could seriously hurt you or kill you?
Yes.
And I have a list of the things that have happened here. I mean, he accuses you of being with other people, right?
Right.
He constantly looks through your phone, correct? He's deleted your Facebook and 300 followers on your Instagram. Promised no more fights if you would just get rid of them.
Yeah.
How'd that work?
It didn't.
He now has to use John's email, and the couple shares one Facebook account. Kirsten can't apply for certain jobs like a waitress because you can't talk to or look at guys, right?
Yeah, I have to flirt in order to be a waitress.
She can't even come to my house, Dr. Phil, without him texting her nonstop and yelling
Kirsten
at her.
can't visit the family of John if he's off of work because that's his time. He has jealous behavior, correct?
Yeah.
Why is this okay with you?
It's not.
Based on results, it is.
I feel very weak. I mean, when I'm away, I get very depressed. I mean, I had to sleep with my mom for several nights when I wasn't with him because I couldn't sleep alone. I mean, she sat with me through tons of breakdowns. It's really hard for me.
You're 18.
Yeah.
And then when you break up, where does he go? He goes to the bar drinking. And then he goes and takes women home from the bar, sleeps with them. Goes buys cocaine.
Okay, you now are pregnant.
Yeah.
You have responsibility to protect this child. Do you feel that responsibility?
I feel it. I know I haven't done the best at it. I know it's very unsafe, especially at times where he does grab a hold of me and throw me down.
Well, I can understand that you don't want to be depressed and upset and have to sleep with your mother until you get through this, but you now are responsible for a child that doesn't have a voice. Now, he was in a relationship with an ex before, and she says that he never actually hit her until after the baby was born.
She told me he never hit her at all.
I've never hit her.
You
I don't have to lie
anyway,
about it.
right?
I don't have to
You
lie
never
about
say
it.
the truth.
She's the one that said it.
She told me she's never been hit by him.
Well, I'm telling you what she's told us.
Right. Well, I believe
She said she was never hit by him until after the baby was born. She says he threatened to cut her up in little pieces and pour Drano on her.
Really?
Yes. That's what she said. She has a restraining order against you, correct?
She does have a restraining order because I didn't show up for a custody hearing in Georgia.
You don't get restraining orders for failing to appear at a custody hearing.
That's when it got placed into play, was when I didn't show up for
Well,
that.
it wasn't, you said it was because. It wasn't because.
It was because of threats that I've made about her family.
Threatening to kill them.
So you've made threats against her family.
To her, yes, I've mentioned different things to her.
What did you say you were going to do to her family?
Any kind of get physical with them.
Does he make threats about us?
not like death threats, no. I mean,
Are you?
Okay.
he has made threats, yes.
You're afraid of leaving him because of that?
Sometimes.
Kirsten, I don't fear this guy. I don't fear him at all.
Well, Kirsten, hang on, let me listen. Has he poured things on you before?
Yeah.
He's poured water on you? He's poured ice on you? He's threatened, according to her, to pour acid on her? You know, that strikes really close to home to me because I have a very close family member who I love very dearly that had that done to them. That's Cindy Broadus. That's Robin's older sister.
Never even seen anything like that.
And she had how many operations so far, Robin?
She's had over 25 reconstructive surgeries.
Over 25 reconstructive surgeries. Listen, this happens. Women get set on fire.
That's what my counselor told me.
Look at these pictures of women set on fire. The woman in the middle and the woman on the far right, it was only verbal until the day they were set on fire. John's ex and the mother of their 18-month-old baby says that John shook their baby after the baby accidentally headbutted him. Is that true or false?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, she's lied about their father's death.
Well, guess who's on the phone? Steve Sr.
She's altered checks.
You added a 9 to the 50.
And
This makes me want to say, forget it.
if you want to get self-righteous and storm off of here, knock yourself out. I don't care.
she's got a real attitude.
You don't even know what it took to come here.
I've seen this act from you about 100 times.
Get out of my life.
That's tomorrow.
John has a restraining order on him from his son's mother.
John has an 18-month-old child with somebody else.
John can't really see him at all. On Father's Day, he asked the baby's mom if he could just come see him for 15 minutes and was told no.
John's ex and the mother of their 18-month-old baby says that John shook their baby after the baby accidentally headbutted him. Is that true or false?
That's completely false. I held him out in front of me and said, take him like this.
I just want you to have a full set of information. I asked Dr. Pat Basu to join us. He's the Chief Medical Officer of Doctor on Demand, which is our own company for telemedicine. It's our family business. Dr. Basu, how are you, sir?
Doing well, Dr. Phil. How are you?
Well, I am well. Tell me what shaken baby syndrome is.
Sure. Shaken baby syndrome is a form of child abuse. In babies in particular, there is a problem because the baby's brain is underdeveloped and the stabilizing muscles in the neck are not fully formed yet to protect that baby's brain. And perhaps most importantly, the baby's brain is a little bit looser within the skull because the bottom of the skull has grooves in it for blood vessels and nerves and other things to run through. It's sharp and it basically scrapes and causes a jagged surface for that brain to slide across and roll around under when it's shaken vigorously.
We're seeing essentially a whiplash effect, and you see the bleeding starting to form, and this is often fatal, correct?
That's correct, Dr. Phil.
All right, Dr. Basu, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you and everyone at Doctor on Demand. So, what do you hear? What do you hear the doctor saying here?
A lot of dangerous things. Nothing positive.
All right. Are you willing to take that risk? You need to think about that. Next, will Kirsten stay with John or do as her family wishes? We're going to find out what she thinks and what John thinks when we come back. Kirsten, what do you want to do?
I want to raise my baby in a happy, healthy home. Raising a baby alone is better than raising it in an abusive environment.
John, what do you want?
I want us to get help and work through things together.
John, here's the problem. You are an at-risk individual.
I agree.
I think you know that you get into a panic and sometimes a panic rage where after the fact you can't believe if you even remember some of the things that you do.
I agree.
I do not believe he is evil to the core. I do not believe that he wants to hurt you or the baby, and I think he would be sorry on death row when it happened. And you may say, well, but, you know, I love him. I want to be him. When it's good, it's good. Now, you're smarter than that. He does need help. Nobody's ever tried to help him. They've just judged him and caged him. True?
That's true.
Why don't you let me get you some help seriously to stop this from going on inside you? Why don't you have it fixed so you can go and be a partner, be a father, be the kind of man that you are truly proud of?
I'm willing to.
Will you take that help? You need to be out of this relationship absolutely, unequivocally, until that is done.
Okay.
There is no question about it. And he needs to respect your right to do that. And if you can't do that, then you need to go somewhere that he can't find you.
Okay.
And if that's what it takes, I will make those arrangements for you as well. You're telling me right here you are willing to separate from him at this point unless and until he does what he needs to do to get himself under control and go protect you and your baby. You are making that commitment to me right now.
Yes.
Are you willing to support that?
Yes.
Ed, you willing to support that? Sis?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you want to say?
His lover. I just want her back.
Ed?
We're always here for you. Don't think that anybody can say anything or do anything to you or to us that's going to change that, okay? Always here.
I love you.
I love you too.
When we come back, my wife Robin has been busy with her foundation When Georgia Smiled. I get to brag about her latest news after the break. Struggling through tough times? Visit drphil.com for 11 seasons of advice on parenting, relationships, finances, and more. Plus, you can share your stories and find support in the Dr. Phil community. If you want more, you have to require more from yourself. So log on to drphil.com and get started today.
I am asking you to join me to help stop abuse of any kind.
I teach family dynamics at Whitehall High School. My favorite resource is Robin McGraw's Aspire curriculum. We've learned a lot about relationships, dating, how to know if you're in a toxic or an abusive relationship.
The Aspire app has a function I call the go button that you can activate the moment you are in danger.
Thank you so much for the Aspire app. I do have a friend. She unfortunately did have to use it. We got her out of the situation she was in. So, thumbs up. Good job.
I just want to thank you for your Aspire initiative. I have had my students go on and listen to the videos, and I know that initiative is saving lives.
Thank you, Robin.
Wow. Well, I hope you're proud of all that.
Oh, I'm so proud. That was very emotional to watch that. Yes, I'm very proud.
Last year, Robin created a foundation named after her mother, and the foundation is called When Georgia Smiled.
Its mission is to help empower and stand up for anyone who is being abused or neglected. One of the first programs we launched was the Aspire Initiative, which is an interactive curriculum for all ages. The Aspire Initiative includes a potentially life-saving free smartphone app, Aspire News.
And since its launch, 150,000 people have downloaded the smartphone app, with almost 1,000 additional downloads happening every single week. And thank you. When the United Nations saw Robin on the show talking about the Aspire app, they were so impressed and moved by her efforts that they reached out to me and wanted to thank her directly, because domestic violence is not something that just happens here in the United States. Sadly, it is a global issue.
He dragged me from home, had a knife, told me to take off my pants and my underwear, and then that's when he started raping me.
He would get drunk, he would beat me. He would put his gun inside my mouth and tell me, "I'll leave your brains splattered on the wall."
If you experience or witness violence, do not keep silent. Help is available. Speak out, seek support, and help save lives.
Please welcome Phumzile Mlambo Bunaka. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Robin, for doing this. We work with women around the world who need Aspire, and you saw in the video, all over the world, this is the challenge.
I want you to talk about a very exciting campaign that you're doing, the He for She campaign. Talk about that a little bit.
This is where we are calling on good men to come forward and to accept being the champions of ending gender inequality of all forms. And in that process, you just go into a website, heforshe.org, and you accept being a he for she. But that implies that you're willing to take action to do something.
And if you want to be that good man that steps up, go to heforshe.org and take the pledge. That is so, so important. And today, I'm going to heforshe.org, and I am signing up. And I want every one of my viewers, if you're a guy, do it. If you're one of the women that watches the show, get your husbands, get your sons, get your son-in-laws, get your brothers. Go to heforshe.org. Get your boss. Get everybody. Go sign up. Okay, but don't stop there. There are other ways to help.
That's right. My foundation, When Georgia Smiled, receives substantial support from the sales of select Revelation products, which in turn allows us to then allocate funding to domestic violence programs. One of those products I hold dear to my heart is named after our granddaughter, Avery. It is called the Avery Lasting Love Lip Gloss Collection, which contains 4 different shades of lip gloss.
And because Robin's Foundation is all about giving back, I'm proud to say that the total net proceeds of sales from the lip gloss collection directly benefits domestic violence programs. If you want to help contribute, go to whengeorgiasmiled.org to learn how.
Before we go, I want to gift everyone in the audience today with a lip gloss. And that's not all. I also want everyone in the audience to experience the 30-day kit of my skincare line, Robin McGraw Revelation.
Log on to RobinMcGrawRevelation.com to learn more. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to the Executive Director of UN Women, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngata. Thanks so much. Goodbye.